Alright, so supposedly we discuss a topic on functions of pituitary hormones, and at 11:30 we are supposed to discuss on the thyroid hormones, the synthesis, metabolism and function of thyroid hormone. So I provided the notes and also some videos to assist you to understand the topics better. So have you got the chance to read the notes and also watch the videos?
Yes, doctor.
Yes, doctor.
Okay.
But not finished.
Not finish, tak apa. Sebab panjang juga kan nak baca, nak tengok video lagi kan. But at least if you haven't finished to read the notes, maybe you can watch the videos first, and after that nanti bila dah free lapang-lapang sikit, then you can read through the notes lah, because if you need to read the notes ni kena baca, you have to read dengan more focus sikit kan. Tapi kalau video tu you boleh tengok relax-relax je kan, santai-santai. Alright, so from the notes yang you sempat baca sikit-sikit, from the video yang you sempat tengok sikit-sikit, is there anything that you would like to clarify or you would like to ask to make it more to make it better? I think maybe we go by topics lah. Okay, first we start with functions of pituitary hormones. So I just share the slide here. Okay, can you see the slide?
Can, doctor.
Alright, okay, so for this topic, functions of pituitary hormones, actually you have learned this in your year 1. Remember lagi tak? So in your year 1, you have learned about hypothalamus and pituitary, and also about the anterior and posterior pituitary. So this topic actually is just a review for all of you to recall back about the functions about the pituitary hormones and also the functions of pituitary hormones. So based on your preliminary reading ataupun yang sempat baca, is there anything that you need to clarify about this topic? So I just go through the slide slowly. Kalau ada apa-apa yang you all nak tanya, you can ask. Okay. So this is the structure. So I'm sure you know that the hypothalamus, you learn in your anatomy, hypothalamus connected to the pituitary. So basically hypothalamus, it got two connection with the pituitary. One is through the blood, through the hypothalamus pituitary hypophyseal system, and then it also connected with the posterior pituitary through neuronal connection. So why is neuronal connection? Recall back, this posterior pituitary actually is a collection of axons, which is the cell body is inside the hypothalamus. Okay. So that's the difference between anterior and posterior pituitary. So an important point that you need to remember, anterior pituitary, they produce their own hormones, okay? But in order for the anterior pituitary to produce its own hormones, it need to be stimulated, or it need to be triggered by this hypothalamus through the release of releasing hormone. Whereas for the posterior pituitary, the important thing that you need to remember is this posterior pituitary, it does not produce its own hormone, but it just store the hormone produced by the hypothalamus. And there are only two hormones stored in the posterior pituitary. What are the hormones?
ADH and oxytocin.
Okay, good. So these two hormones, ADH, antidiuretic hormone, or certain textbook they wrote as vasopressin. So kalau you baca vasopressin ke, is the same as ADH, antidiuretic hormone, and oxytocin. So both of these hormones are produced or synthesized in the nucleus in the hypothalamus, but it is being stored in the posterior pituitary. Whereas for the anterior pituitary, it produces 6 hormones. But in order for it to produce this hormone, it needs to be stimulated by the releasing hormone from the hypothalamus. So hypothalamus ni pula from where it get the stimulation? Siapa pula yang stimulate hypothalamus ni? Siapa yang trigger hypothalamus to release the releasing hormone?
Stimulus.
Stimulus through betul, tapi through apa ni, which system, daripada blood ke daripada mana?
Nervous.
Nerve.
Through the nervous system. Good. So basically, if you see here, the hypothalamus, they receive the stimulation from the nerves. So if you look here, hypothalamus is actually serve as a bridge between the nervous system and also the endocrine system. So what it do, the hypothalamus, it convert the message to in the form of nerve impulse tadi. When it reach the hypothalamus, it's then being converted into a hormone, into a releasing hormone, which will then will be released through the portal hypophyseal system to the anterior pituitary and stimulate the production of hormones in the anterior pituitary. Okay, so that's basically the summary lah of what's happened between hypothalamus and pituitary kan. Okay, up to that point boleh So those are the important things that I would like to highlight lah about this one. Okay, so yang ni you boleh baca. This one also you boleh baca juga. So this hypothalamus tadi, dia release the releasing hormone and this releasing hormone will stimulate the anterior pituitary to produce the pituitary hormones. And then this pituitary hormone pula, it will be released through the blood circulation and go to the target organs. So it either stimulate the target organs or the target organ tu apa? Can you give example of the target organ of pituitary hormone? Any organ that you can think of.
The adrenal gland.
Yes, adrenal gland. Good. Lagi?
Thyroid gland.
Thyroid gland. Okay, good.
Kidney.
Kidney. Not quite. Adrenal gland tadi tu. Dekat kidney kan. Okay. Lagi?
Gonads.
Gonads. So by gonads, what do you mean by that?
Ovaries and
Okay. Kalau
testes.
in female, ovaries. Kalau in male, testes. Okay. Lagi? Ada lagi? What else? The target organ for the pituitary hormones?
Bone.
Bone. Okay. Good. So, based on your answers just now, it can be said that the target organ for the pituitary hormones, it could be another endocrine glands that will secrete another hormone, or it will be another organ or another structure in the body that will straight away produce the function. So for the first one, another endocrine gland, for example, just now you mentioned about adrenal gland kan? So the hormone, the pituitary hormone, specifically the adrenocorticotropic hormone, ACTH, it will go through the blood circulation to the adrenal gland and then stimulate adrenal gland to produce apa? Mainly cortisol kan. Okay. So cortisol is actually another hormone. And then tadi ada yang bagi contoh thyroid gland kan, the target organ. So again, the pituitary, anterior pituitary produces thyroid stimulating hormone. So this hormone, it will go through the blood circulation to the thyroid gland and stimulate thyroid gland to produce thyroid hormone. So dia trigger the endocrine gland to produce another hormone. There's also target organ of the pituitary hormone which is not producing other hormone but is straight away producing the effects. For example, just now your friend mentioned about bones. So bones is actually a target organ or a target structure for example, growth hormone. So growth hormone produced by the anterior pituitary, it will travel through the blood circulation to the bone and stimulate the development of the bone. Okay, So in that example, there's no hormone is being produced, but straight away produce the cellular response, the effects. Okay, so tadi kita kata pituitary hormone, it can be two lah. It can either go to target organ and stimulate target organ to produce another hormone, okay, or it can go to the target organ and straight away produce the effects. Tadi ada yang bagi contoh gonads kan, contoh macam apa, ovary. So the pituitary hormone, the FSH, the LH, it will stimulate the pituitary, the gonads, the ovaries, to produce another hormone which is the estrogen, the progesterone kan. Okay. So right, these are the hormone produced by the anterior pituitary. Basically there are 6 of them. And then specific pituitary hormone is being triggered or stimulated by a specific releasing hormone from the hypothalamus. And on top of releasing hormone, hypothalamus also secrete inhibitory hormone. Okay, and then important thing that I need to highlight is about the prolactin. Okay, so if you see here, hypothalamus, it secrete mainly prolactin inhibiting hormone. So under general condition, most of the time, all the pituitary, all the rest of the anterior pituitary hormone ni is being stimulated, the production is being stimulated by the releasing hormone from the hypothalamus, except the prolactin. So meaning that under normal condition, most of the time the effects of hypothalamus is to inhibit the production of prolactin by secreting the prolactin inhibiting hormone. Okay, boleh faham ke yang tu?
Boleh doktor.
Okay, good.
Doktor,
Yeah.
what is lactotropes and somatotropes?
These are the names of the cells, specific cells dekat anterior pituitary. So anterior pituitary, it produced different hormones kan. So this hormone is actually produced by different cells lah. For example, kalau thyroid stimulating hormone is produced by this thyrotrope cell. This one is very detail lah. You don't really need to know in details about this. Sebab dia dekat anterior pituitary tu ada banyak hormon, so that different hormone is produced by different cells depending on the hormone or the releasing hormone that they received from the hypothalamus. So let's say, for example, for this one, the hypothalamus produce thyrotropin releasing hormone. So this hormone will bind to this thyrotrope cell and stimulate the cell to produce TSH. Boleh ke?
Boleh ke doktor?
Okay, good. Right, then that's about the posterior pituitary. Okay, again, it is important for you to remember, posterior pituitary did not produce hormone. Okay, it only store the hormone produced by the hypothalamus. So yang ni memang you all kena ingat sampai bila-bila lah. Okay, so this is the specific function of the hormone, growth hormone. This one all you can read lah. So this is just these photos just to show you the abnormalities that can occur if there is low in growth hormone, or if the person produce more growth hormone. So if low growth hormone, it can lead to dwarfism. And if a person has some abnormality, they produce lots of growth hormone, it can lead to gigantism. Okay, so this is the prolactin. This one also you can read by yourself lah.
Doktor,
Ya.
tanya.
Boleh.
Untuk prolactin tu,
Prolactin, okay.
prolactin releasing hormone PRH dia daripada mana?
Prolactin PRH ke PIH ke?
PRH.
Prolactin. Oh, yang ni ke? Prolactin releasing hormone, PRH. Okay. So it's the same. It's from the hypothalamus as well. It's just that under normal condition that PRH ni is being suppressed. Dia tak diriliskan. Okay, ataupun nama lain untuk so this PRH ni dia under normal condition dia being suppressed lah. Okay. Dia the PIH is dominant. PIH ni atau ada certain book dia write as dopamine. So dopamine is actually prolactin inhibitory hormone. So this dopamine, it inhibit the prolactin secretion or production by the anterior pituitary. So until it receive a trigger, so apa yang trigger? Basically the lactation lah. When a mother giving birth to a baby and then during the lactation process, so this lactation process ni yang akan inhibit the prolactin inhibiting hormone. And then at that time, this PRH will be dominant dan dia akan stimulate anterior pituitary to produce the prolactin. Boleh faham tak?
Boleh.
Alright. Alright, okay, good.
Doktor, boleh go back slide tak?
Go back slide yang mana?
Yang ni apa maksud the only hormone that is under negative feedback hypothalamus. Satu lagi.
Yang ni ke? Yang
ni. The only pituitary hormone.
Okay. So as I mentioned earlier, most of the anterior pituitary, the rest of anterior pituitary hormone, kan tadi anterior pituitary hormone ada 6 kan? So the rest of the hormone, yang 5 hormone tu, most of the time dia punya main tu adalah dia receive the releasing hormone from hypothalamus and it produce hormone. Dia receive the releasing hormone, it produce hormone. Okay. Tapi untuk prolactin, most of the time it is being inhibited by the hypothalamus through the prolactin inhibiting hormone or dopamine. So maksudnya that's what it means, the only pituitary hormone that is primarily under negative regulation. Maksudnya instead of stimulate the production of prolactin ni, hypothalamus mainly inhibit. The main action of hypothalamus is to inhibit the prolactin until the hypothalamus receive the signal during breastfeeding. Masa tu baru hypothalamus akan stimulate the production of prolactin by the pituitary. As compared to another hormone, most of other hormone, the thyroid stimulating hormone, the adrenocorticotropic hormone, most of the time they will be stimulated by the hypothalamus. That's what it means lah.
Okay, thank you, Doktor.
Okay. Alright, so ni you all boleh baca. Okay. Ya.
Saya ada soalan pasal prolactin juga.
Boleh. Sila.
Tadi kan doktor cakap macam prolactin hormon ni dia akan release mainly ke sebab PIH2 is inhibited. So prolactin can release.
PIH tu dia PIH is prolactin inhibiting hormone. Or certain book dia tulis as dopamine kan. Okay. So under normal condition without any stimulus, hypothalamus dia akan release PIH. So PIH akan inhibit prolactin. Tapi during lactation, during breastfeeding, the stimulus from the baby suckling tu, dia akan send signal to the brain and then hypothalamus akan cakap okay, now is a lactation process. So at that time hypothalamus akan inhibit the PIH dan dia akan start release the PRH, prolactin releasing hormone. So that PRH will then trigger the anterior pituitary to produce prolactin, which will be released in the blood circulation to the breast to produce breast milk.
Okay. Faham.
Boleh Alright, good. So this one all the hormon-hormon ni you boleh baca lah. Okay, sebab yang lain ni rasa macam simple je lah. Okay, so that's finish for this function of pituitary hormones. It's okay kalau you all tak sempat baca, if you all haven't got enough time to read the notes and also to look at the videos, because we are going to have another tutorial session next week on Monday at 11:30. So we can discuss again during that time. Okay. Okay, so now we will go to the next topic, which is on thyroid hormones, biosynthesis, metabolism and function of thyroid hormones. So for this one, I think if you be able to watch the videos that I shared to you, it will be clearer, because kat video tu dia tunjuk animation, move here, move there kan. There's animation, so it will be easier for you to understand. Have anybody got the chance to watch the video?
Yes, me.
Yes, Doktor.
So when you watch the video, can you understand the process?
Yes,
Yes.
Doktor. Yes.
Video tu clear kan? Nampak dia lukis, dia buat flow kan? Daripada sini ke sini ke sini kan? So insyaAllah, I think with the notes and together with the video, it will make you understand the process clearly. But having said that, is there anything that you would like to ask or clarify about topics on this thyroid hormone? Kejap ya, saya go through apa ni, the slide. Sekarang ni you all nampak slide yang mana ya dekat you punya screen?
Nampak, thank you.
Oh, nampak, thank you. Okay, sekejap. Saya share semula. Okay, ni nampak?
Nampak.
Okay.
Nampak, Doktor.
Tadi saya duk tukar-tukar punya, dia tukar kat screen saya je. Dia tak tukar kat screen you all Okay, so this is basically about the thyroid. So yang penting nanti you all kena faham pasal process of this thyroid hormone synthesis lah. So dia punya main diagram dia dekat sini. So this whole diagram ni actually telling you the process or how the thyroid hormone is being synthesized. So let's say if I ask one of you to explain about this diagram, boleh tak? Saya nak panggil
The one that watch video.
Apa dia?
No.
No. Siapa tengah watch video? So kalau you watch video tu is actually telling the whole process ni lah kan? Okay, tak apa. You all boleh tengok dulu video tu. And then if still there's something that you don't understand, we can discuss during our tutorial next week, yeah? Okay. It's already 30 minutes now. If according to the instruction, I need to stop lah kan. Tak boleh cakap panjang-panjang. Okay. So, basically thyroid hormones ni, if I can summarize, it works synergistically, it works together with the growth hormone in order for the metabolic function in the body. It helps growth, it helps the development, okay. So that's why thyroid hormone ni is very very important even since the birth. So if you are aware, or maybe some of you not aware, after the baby is born, the first thing that yang diorang check, the first blood yang diorang check is the thyroid function. They check the TSH level in order to make sure that the baby does not have any thyroid hormone problem. Because if the baby has thyroid hormone problems from the beginning, it will affect the brain development, it will affect the organ development, it will affect all the general development of the baby lah. So that's why we need to know, we need to check since birth lagi whether the baby is having any problem with the thyroid hormone. So thyroid hormone ni antara hormon yang paling special lah, sebab lahir-lahir je kita terus check. It is a compulsory blood test to do for a newborn baby. Okay, So this topic, I think,
Doktor, I have question.
yeah, boleh.
In the video, it said that T4 is lesser than is more than T3, but
Okay.
T3 is more active than T4.
Betul. It's not just in the video, it's also, I also mentioned in my notes. Sekejap ya, saya cari. Okay. Okay, sekejap, tak jumpa pula. Okay. Betul, so Christina nak tahu pasal apa?
So T4 is actually dia selalu akan ditukarkan ke T3 ke? Since T3 is more active than T4 ke macam mana?
That's a good question. So, in general, thyroid gland, it produce more. 90% of it is T4. Tapi T3 is the more potent or more active than T4. More potent maknanya in order for the cell to develop response, it need to be triggered by the T3 hormone. So what will happen, this T4 when it reach the target organ tu, it will be deiodinized. Maksudnya dia akan undergo deiodination process, dia akan remove satu iodine. So daripada 4 iodine sekarang dia jadi 3. So it become T3. So the one that bind to the receptor and produce a cellular response is T3. So kalau soalan Christina tadi, yes. So all T4 ni dia akan di convert to T3 and then it will produce the cellular response.
Alright, doctor, understood. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And then remember, this hormone T3 and T4, because they are lipid hormones, so they cannot move freely in the blood. So they need a carrier, need a transport. So that's why they require a transport protein. The main transport protein is the thyroxine binding globulin or TBG ni, thyroxine binding globulin. So most of circulating T4 it will bound to TBG. So that's why and then but the TBG ni dia ada limited number, the transport is limited, like your kalau you tengok transport kita lah kan, macam Grab car ke, at one time all the transport is being occupied kan, fully occupied. So that's why if we want to know whether we have excess of hormone in the body, we will measure the free hormone, free thyroid hormone. Sebab most of the time the thyroid hormone will bind to the binding protein, so the excess one will be free hormone. So this level of free hormone will give us some idea whether our thyroid gland ni produce more hormone ke less hormone. Okay. And then this free hormone also is the one that give a feedback mechanism telling the hypothalamus and the pituitary, okay, now we have enough hormone, then stop producing hormone. So this is what the free hormone is the one that give a feedback, negative feedback mechanism to the hypothalamus and also to the pituitary. Okay. Alright. Boleh faham yang tu?
Boleh, doktor.
Okay, good. So ada apa-apa lagi? Last question, dah dekat 40 minit dah. Hari ni Friday kan, your friend brothers nak pergi solat Jumaat kan? You all ada yang from red zone tak?
Ada.
Ada. Okay.
Sian
So,
dia.
yang red zone ni memang tak boleh keluar lah kan? Pergi solat Jumaat pun tak boleh kan?
Kalau tak red zone tak pergi kak.
Oh ya, gitu. Itu fatwa baru tu. Itu dia mengambil ni ya, pada kifayah kan?
Masya Allah.
Masya Allah. Okay. So, any other question? Last question? Okay. If no question, then I'm going to stop now. You can go back and read the notes and also watch the videos. We have another session on Monday, so we can discuss again on Monday ya. Alright, thank you everyone. Jumpa lagi next week. Stay safe.
Thank you very much, Doktor.
Okay, take care semua. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you, Doktor.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you, Doktor.
Thank you very much, Doktor.
Thank you semua.
Thank you, Doktor.